Salutations, Geek Nation, and welcome back to Geek Culture Combat. We are your hosts, Rob and Chris. But before we get started, let me go ahead and remind you to smash that notification bell, hit the like button. Please like, share, subscribe, and also comment down below. Let us know what you think. We do not decide who win these debates. We only advocate for the characters that we represent, but you in the comment section say which character you have winning. With that, in this particular debate, in this fight, we are going to be pitting the Savage Dragon from Image Comics against Marvel Comics Luke Cage. I will be representing the Savage Dragon, while Chris will be representing and advocating for Luke Cage. Now, before we got on this recording, Chris said that he wanted me to go ahead and go first, so I am going to tell you about Savage Dragon. So, Savage Dragon was actually Emperor Kerr, the leader of a nomadic race of aliens who were looking for a new planet to inhabit. They had searched space in their starship for thousands of years. Finally, Earth was discovered, and Kerr saw the planet and its inhabitants and decided to go against his race peaceful ways and eradicate the humans. He had no desire to share his new home with another race. Two of the Emperor's scientists, Rek and Wyko, discovered Kerr's plan and conspired against him. The scientists caused brain damage, which erased Kerr's memories. These erased memories were replaced with several days worth of Earth's satellite television programming, making him up to date on current events, but completely unaware of who or what he was. Kerr was left to live on Earth as his race continued their search for a new home. Okay, so just so you guys know, Savage Dragon was created by Erik Larsen, and like many of his creations, the dragon was originally created in his youth and drew a number of elements from such wildly diverse sources as Captain Marvel, Batman, Speed Racer, and the Incredible Hulk. In his youth, Larsen had two friends printed a fanzine called Graphic Fantasy based on his creation. The dragon first made his comic book debut in 1982 as Paul Dragon, the Dragon. When working on Gary Carlson's book Megaton, Larsen created a slightly revised version of the character to guest star in a backup feature in the 1980s. Now, moving forward in 1992, when Erik Larsen left Marvel Comics to co-found Image Comics, he decided to rework and redesign his old faithful character to make the transition with him. And as of today, the Savage Dragon remains only one of two original Image comic book titles that continues to be printed to this day, and the only one that is still being written and drawn by its creator. So we're going to go through a little bit on the whole Image universe. Now, Dragon was discovered in a burning field by Lieutenant Frank Darling of the Chicago Police Department. Darling thought that Dragon would be able to help the police force battle against the superhumans. And Dragon turned the offer down and then went to work at a warehouse run by Darling's cousin. Hoping to compel Dragon to join, Darling paid two criminals to threaten his cousin. His ploy worked, but at a cost. Darling's cousin was killed by the thugs. Frank was now under the thumb of the criminal gang Vicious Circle and would be used by the group to make Dragon avoid their business. He was partnered with a young female officer, Alex Wilde. So, after this, as you guys may or may not know, Savage Dragon was a police officer for a long time. He was actually a police officer in Chicago. He would begin a relationship with a woman named Debbie Harris. The relationship ended tragically when she was shot by her jealous ex, Arnold Dimple. This event depressed Dragon for some time. Dimple would go on to gain superpowers through a Faustinian deal, becoming the villain Fiend. Due to Dragon's abilities, he would be loaned to various police departments in America, while in New York, Dragon met with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, becoming a recurring ally of theirs. Meanwhile, back in Chicago, a prison break occurred. Many criminals died, including Hardware, who intended to be a witness for the department. Okay, so we're looking at some of these other feats. Now we're going to get to some of the powers and abilities. Okay, that's a little bit about the history. Some of the powers and abilities is superhuman strength. Okay, Dragon is an alien, and his physiology enables him to lift and press approximately 34 tons or more. Invulnerability. His skin is tough enough to resist bullets. He is seemingly immune to fire and can breathe underwater. His skin is vulnerable to cuts and piercings from sharp objects. So that's really his only weakness. But to compensate for that, he possesses a healing factor that can go so far as to regrow lost limbs and organs. Okay, he's also a marksman because he was in the police department. Dragon is a skilled marksman and hand-to-hand combatant, which is enhanced with his great speed and agility. Speaking of which, his agility is ridiculous. It says, despite his large size, Dragon is surprisingly fast and agile, and he is capable of leaping fairly large distances and high enough to jump over a 2-story house. Okay, roughly stands about 5'10", 6'6", with his fin, about 450 pounds, eyes green, and the hair that he has on his body, that hair is black. And that is where I'm going to rest the mic, and I will let Chris tell you guys all about Luke Cage.
Thank you. Okay, so Luke Cage, a.k.a. Power Man, a.k.a. Carl Lucas, was a blaxploitation character right around the time of Shaft and Marvel's answer to Shaft. He did some dirt in his past and ended up in prison where he took part of an experiment that was trying to replicate different aspects of the super soldier program, and a guy tried to kill him and amped it up to 11. He comes out unbreakable skinned Power Man. So Luke Cage has been an Avenger, Heroes for Hire, Defender, a bunch of different hero groups over the course of his career. He's one of the few Marvel characters that's married with children. He's married to Jewel. Jessica Jones, for those people that watch the Netflix show, is his wife in the comics. And they have a daughter together who one day will become really powerful. But we're focused on Luke Cage today. Luke is one of the first characters that actually monetized being a hero. Him and his partner Iron Fist created a company called Heroes for Hire. Think of that, it's kind of pretty much like the superhuman version of the A-Team. You had a problem, you paid them some money, they took care of it. Because all the superheroes in the world can't handle all the problems. Over the course of his career, they became less Sweet Christmas, and Luke evolved more and more to a fully fleshed out character, not just a character of a 70s black man. He was the leader of the New Avengers shortly after Avengers is disassembled. And let's go over his power. So Luke Cage, he can lift approximately 50 tons normally, but he's been known to be able to lift a lot more when he's upset. He's superhuman stamina, strength, speed, and the one thing that stood out about him opposed to other characters was unbreakable skin. But I'm going to be honest, first one to say, his unbreakable skin is not completely unbreakable. There are things that can hurt him, but not common things, because his skin is so unbreakable that if he gets internal injuries, they have to get his healing factor isn't kicking in. He has to go through surgery where they have to use super-powered lasers or adamantium tools to break into his skin to be able to treat him. His power was created through a process called the Bernstein process, which is one of Marvel's many versions of the super soldier program. They gave him superhuman strength that started off around 25 tons and slowly increased to, started off at 5 tons,
then about 5.
25,
right,
and then ended up at 50.
Right.
He has superhuman stamina where he doesn't get tired as much as normal humans. So, despite his heavy mass, he's done, plenty of feats of athleticism over his career. And then we go back to that unbreakable skin. Bullets, blades, none of that stuff hurts him. He can withstand up to 1-ton impacts of blasts of 150 pounds of TNT without injury. Temperatures and electric shocks don't hurt him. And if he does get hurt, he has a healing factor allowing him to not heal at Wolverine levels or anything like that, but he does heal 3 times faster than a normal human being. He's an expert combatant. He taught himself street fighting, and then he went on to learn at the feet of the Iron Fist himself, Danny Rand.
Well, all right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in it. I think we both can agree that it may not check all the boxes, but it's a mirror match. This is actually a mirror match. They have a lot of the similar abilities, almost across the board. I mean, I think the edge would be Luke Cage's unbreakable skin, but then we have a much better healing factor when it comes to Savage Dragon, and I think that's going to make the difference here. As far as hitting and impact, I mean, you talking 34 tons or better versus Luke's around 50, something like that, and if we look at their feats and things like that, it's really, really, really similar. But I think that one of the things that's not going to go well for Luke Cage is that if we're talking about some striking power, Savage Dragon has a ton of striking power, and 34 tons worth of striking power. That's going to cause some serious internal injuries, because that is the weakness of Luke Cage. Now, he heals about 3 times as fast as a human, but that is not going to be enough for someone wailing on him and causing multiple contusions. I liken it to when World War Hulk was grabbing Wolverine and he was smacking him across the head because he said, I can't break that adamantium skull, but that brain that's rattling around in there. I think it's going to be similar, the same thing. And Luke Cage doesn't have quite the healing factor as Wolverine does. However, Savage Dragon does have that kind of healing factor, to the point that he's regrown limbs. Okay, so it even says that. So he's even grown limbs, and I've seen it actually. So he's regrown limbs, and so he's not going to suffer the same damage. Now, I admit Savage Dragon does have a weakness to bladed weapons. He's kind of like Wonder Woman in that sense. He does have a weakness to being cut and sharp objects and stuff like that. Whereas Luke Cage does not have that weakness. However, Luke Cage is not known to fight with bladed weapons. He's just not that kind of fighter. He doesn't use that kind of things. It's going to be, we both can agree, it's probably going to be fisticuffs. Because bullets is not going to work on either one of them. It's just not going to work. I mean, Dragon's bulletproof too. He's bulletproof, fireproof. Like I said, his only weakness has really been cuts. Everything else, he either takes it or he heals from it. And so that's it. So I think it's pretty much over from the start due to multiple contusions and internal bleeding and a whole lot of internal damage.
He's not human internally. He's still durable internally. It takes a lot to hurt him internally. He's fallen off a 9-story building and been fine with that. He's, taken a blast of 100 pounds of TNT to his face and been fine with that. Extreme temperatures, electric shocks. He's cool with all that. But the most important thing is, he has an unbreakable leather jacket, right?
No, that's not going to help him. That's just all that's going to happen.
No, Savage Dragon is a brawler.
Yes, but he has been trained in the police force, so let's not act like he don't have any training.
Trained in the police force is not trained by Danny Rand, the Iron Fist.
Yeah, but
you understand the difference? That's like saying I was trained in elementary school, but this dude was trained by a PhD.
Oh, okay, understood. But guess what? Luke Cage is not a master yet. He is still a student. He's still got a lot to learn. He does have
something to learn, but he has been training for years with Iron Fist. And you can tell that because he's one of the few characters that have been allowed to age. He's grown up. He's grown old. got a wife. His kid is growing older, and in all that time, he's been training with Danny.
But he also he's also gotten into fisticuffs with a lot of other brawlers and people who have strength feats or whatever, and he's got tossed around. So Savage Dragon is gonna toss him around too. He's still gonna get slammed, body slammed, choked out, get an arm broke. I mean, his bones are not unbreakable. He can get broke up. His skin will be just fine, but his bones broken, and he don't heal that fast.
Yeah, but his bones are still more durable than human bones.
Yeah, they are. But guess what? His bones can't withstand tonnage of pressure. Joints. He can still be broken. He's unbreakable skin, not unbreakable bones. Now, is it stronger than a normal human? Yes, absolutely. Luke Cage bones are stronger than a human, but it's not enough.
We know he's fallen from 9 stories up, and he has not had internal bleeding or broken bone. 9 stories hit the ground.
Okay, but there's a difference when someone has leverage on your arms or limbs or something and they snapping it. And you talk about someone who has strength like Luke Cage and breaking him down. He can be brought down. Put it like this here. Okay, let's just take for example. Let's take for example Bushmaster in the Netflix special or whatever. Bushmaster had his strength amped, nowhere near where Savage Dragon is. And I admit, Luke Cage in the Netflix, he's not at the 50 ton, but he was definitely at the unbreakable level. And the Bushmaster, I mean, he beat the dog crap out. He curb stomped him. And they weren't even at the 25, 50, 40 ton level. He wasn't even there. He was more, on the show, if I had to guess, he was probably at maybe 10 ton level or something like that. And I'm not saying Bushmaster was.
Two different people, though. That's not the Luke Cage that we're discussing.
Okay, understand. Okay, no problem. All right. But still, even in the comics, he has still got bested in fights by people with comparable strength.
He's gotten a lot better, too. He has had extensive training with Iron Fist. Not a little bit, not a medium amount, extensive training. He knows how to use his strength, his leverage to focus his combat skills.
I understand that he fights. I understand he fights better than he used to. I get it. But
not just that. He's trained to fight powerful opponents.
Fair enough, but
especially people more powerful than him.
Okay, but fair enough. But the same thing could be said about Savage Dragon. That's all he's been fighting was super powered being at different levels and people who fights better than him, and he still gets the best of them. That's all Savage Dragon does. He only fought powerful people. That's all he fights. That's it. Deadly, dangerous, powerful people. That's it. That's all he fights all day. And given time, as you know this with anybody, when you're in combat, if you've been doing it for so long, you get better and better and better and better. So both of them have been getting better. Now, has Savage Dragon been trained by Danny Rand? Of course not. But through the course of battle alone, when you survive, you get better. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. You get better.
Right, but thank you for proving my point. Thank you.
What?
But when you have a healing factor like that, you don't get better because you don't learn from your mistakes.
No.
It's the same Wolverine thing. Anytime somebody has an amped up healing factor, they take damage because
they know they can take it.
Other people get out of the way. And he's going to fight like that and get his butt handed to him. No. Savage Dragon he's gonna say, look, I got a guy who's just as durable as I am, and I'm gonna have to take this up a notch. Once you see that, it doesn't take you long to figure that out. Once you see that, it's that you have to take it up a notch. You have to. You have no choice. You do realize Unbreakable Jacket is armor, right?
I understand, but it has nothing to do with joint locks. It has nothing to do with breaking bones. It has nothing to do with breaking someone's neck. But I'm gonna let you have the closing remarks. So we're closing in on 20 minutes.
Okay, so my closing remark is trained by human cops in combat or trained by the Iron Fist in combat.
I see how you're trying to sneak that in there, but I'm not going to let you just slide that through. Your boy doesn't want the smoke, okay? Your boy does not want to smoke. He's gonna get curb stomped. And once Dragon understands that, okay, I can't break through these guys' skin or whatever, I'm gonna have to take it up a notch. I'm gonna have to break him down. I have to snap his neck. I gotta break some bones. I gotta do something. He's gonna have some internal injuries. With
Just
that,
so you're aware, just so you're aware, for the record, not only will Luke Cage whip Savage Dragon, he will whip his son too, the current Savage Dragon, electrical powers and all.
okay, well, I'm glad you threw that in there, and we'll put him in a future. We'll put that in a future debate. Well, guys, that is it. That is the Savage Dragon versus Luke Cage. It's not up to us to decide who won. It is up to you to decide who you have winning. Sound off in the comment down below. Don't forget to smash that notification bell, like, share, subscribe, and we're going to see you guys on the next debate. Geek Culture Combat.